I didn't know there's two direct-to-video sequels to this movie.
Oh, yeah, Angels in the Infield and Angels in the End Zone, right?
What? I didn't even know that.
Hey, before we actually start talking, a little announcement. We'll just edit this into the show. Just wanted to put this at the top of the podcast for anybody who listens. We've been getting a lot of listener suggestions lately, and we love it. You guys think of great movies. I just wanted to pop something real quick at the beginning to let everybody know that if you have any suggestions, send them to us on our email, moviehotdog@gmail.com, or message them to us on Facebook. I'm pretty quick with responding, and if it's a good movie, we'll absolutely watch it. It definitely helps if you have a link to it, and you can send it to us, and we can watch it for free. If you can stay within those guidelines, and it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime or YouTube, we will definitely watch it. So if you have anything you want us to check out, pop us a little notification, and we'll absolutely check it out. Okay, so I'm Reverend Zach.
I'm Frank-cis.
Welcome to This Movie Was a Hot Dog, a podcast where me and my brother over here, Frank-cis, watch a bad movie, critically, financially, or otherwise, then we review it, break it down, and tell you what we think. And this week we watched the classic movie?
Well, Disney, how could you go wrong?
Disney's classic 1994's Angels in the Outfield, starring an abundance of people I forgot were in this movie. Yeah. We got Danny Glover, Tony Danza, Christopher Lloyd, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Adrian Brody, Matthew McConaughey, Brenda Flicker, Tyler Negron, Dermot Mulrooney, and Neil McDonough.
It's a lot of stars.
A lot. I started watching it. As I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, he's in this? Matthew McConaughey's in this movie?
Tony Danza was the one that surprised me.
Tony Danza didn't surprise me. I mean, it's the mid-'90s. Sure, Tony Danza would be in a movie like this, but fucking Matthew McConaughey and Adrian Brody, they're both Oscar-winning actors.
I mean, and I just want to say about Tony Danza, he was definitely the boss in this movie.
Oh.
What?
Boo!
Yeah, boo. That's why, okay, now that we're talking about it, that's why this movie cost so much to make.
$24 million? I don't know. It's a Disney production.
Yeah.
Disney's got money to throw around.
There's no, the angels are like the special effect in the movie, but I don't know.
We're not going to really touch on how the angels look because honestly, it really isn't who fucking cares? But they do look terrible.
Terrible.
They are just cartoons.
With a real person's face. That's it.
Yeah, it's a cartoon with a person head on it, and they fade in and out of existence, and it's all this cartoon bubbly effect. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, and in 90, what was this, 4?
94,
they could do better. I mean, Terminator 2 had been out by then.
Well, it cost $24 million, like you said, and it made 50, so it made some money, but it was, because here's the thing. We both talked about this. We both saw this movie in the theaters, and I think a lot of people have. I definitely know if you're a stupid millennial like I am, you're very familiar with what Angels in the Outfield are, and you've seen it probably at least a few times, and you probably maybe have some sort of fondness for this movie. I didn't realize, nobody liked this movie. Even then, it has a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I thought I liked it, too. I thought...
and you know what? That sums it up pretty well. I thought I liked this movie.
Yeah, because I saw it as a kid. And for the record, I really like baseball even to this day, and I can't wait to talk about some of the baseball stuff, in this movie. And then I watched it, and I'm like, ooh, wow, this is not what I remembered.
Not only not what you remembered, I was like, this is a lot creepier than I remember it. This is a lot sadder than I remember it. It's also a lot just as an adult, if you really start to think about what's going on, you're like, well, this doesn't seem fair.
How is God on their side?
Right. Why is God on their side? Why we'll get into that. So we might as well start talking about it. So the movie opens up. We lay everything out pretty thick in the first 2 minutes.
It's pretty rough.
We got Joseph. What?
It's pretty rough,
It's pretty rough. We got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's the main character. I think he's playing Roger.
Roger.
And he's got a little tiny friend, little tiny black kid called JP, played by this kid Milton Davis.
Does he ever star in anything else in like?
Who cares?
Wondering.
They live in a foster home, and we find out why he's in a foster home right away, because his dad is at home at this foster home waiting for him, and his dad is played by Dermot Mulroney. And you kind of had to put it together what he was saying, but apparently his mom died. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's mom died.
That's what I got out of it, yeah.
And his dad just couldn't handle it, something?
He doesn't know how to be he just doesn't know how to be a parent. Maybe he can't afford it, I guess,
So he temporarily put Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a foster home, and he hasn't seen his dad in a few months. Dad shows up and basically tells his son, I'm going to legally abandon you and just sort of leave you as a warden of the state. So, goodbye.
And he's like, is this where he says something? Yeah, this is where he's talking about. He's like, well, when am I going to see you again? When are we going to be a family again?
Yeah, and he goes, probably when the Angels win the pennant.
And the Angels are terrible.
Because let's establish that up front. The Angels are Anaheim, California's minor league team?
Maybe single A. I mean,
maybe something. I don't know what they are.
They're a Major League Baseball team.
Oh, they're Major League.
Right.
Okay, so
which is where I have an issue. When we get to when we're actually at a game, I want. Oh my God, I can't even begin to.
Well, it's also Joseph Gordon-Levitt's favorite team, and they're terrible. They have a 15-game losing streak. That all comes up later. But because they're so bad, when he says we'll be a family again when the Angels win the pennant, is basically saying we'll never be a family. But because Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a stupid kid and doesn't understand metaphors or sarcasm,
he takes it serious.
He takes it not seriously, but literally.
For fact, yeah. He's like, okay, well, I better get working on them winning the pennant.
I guess when they win the pennant, my dad will come pick me up, so I better, pray to God.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, what we were talking about before, where it's like, I thought I liked this movie. I did not remember the specifics of this situation, and I just figured it was a divorce or something.
No, he just doesn't want him.
Yeah, and there was a custody battle, but I didn't realize it was so fucking heavy.
Yeah, he's just basically hey, I really don't want you. Don't know how to tell you that.
Yeah, so. I don't want to be your dad. I have no emotional connection to you at all. I kind of have to talk to you legally
until I get rid of you. And then,
until I get rid of you, which I'm actively trying to do, and the papers are in the mail, by the way. So, goodbye forever.
But if the Angels win the pennant, which
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's so there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance,
and you're like, oh, this is so sad.
Yeah. Oh, there was a couple moments this morning watching the movie where I was like, wow, I'm a little bit upset about this.
Yeah, this is kind of bumming me out. Wasn't this a movie about angels? So, cut outside the stadium where both kids have climbed a tree and are watching the game and listening to it on a radio. This is where we actually see how bad the Angels are. But not only are they bad, they're cartoonishly goofily bad.
Right. Players just running into each other constantly.
Head first. Their heads go bonk, and then they're like, whoa.
Their announcer we'll get into the announcer later, but, yeah.
The announcer hates everybody. I think he's suffering from alcoholism because he's drinking whiskey in his coffee mug during games.
And then just on the side note, I'm going, if I get too much into baseball, let me know, but no home announcer would be allowed to continue working for that team if he kept talking the way that he talked about the team while they were, playing.
Well, I guess that's supposed to set up they're so bad nobody expects anything from them. And rightfully so, because they are that terrible. So as the game's happening, their pitcher, I don't even remember what. He does something bad, and Danny Glover's going to call him off the game. And then he gets in a fight with his own pitcher from his own team and socks this guy in the face.
Now, first off,
he's fired now.
He will not
Danny
work
Glover.
in any kind of Major League Baseball franchise ever.
And maybe he'll get some jail time for assaulting a man on TV.
Yeah, it's not like it was a secret. He didn't do it in the locker room or anything. No, this is just on national television or in the local area.
So the kids get caught. They climb down the tree. But we cut to the locker room of the Angels. And it's funny because this was still that early part of the 90s where you could still smoke basically anywhere.
Right, indoors, whatever, yeah. And in movies. You hardly ever see smoking in movies now.
Not only smoking in movies, the good guy smokes.
Yeah, now it's sort of an evil thing, yeah.
Yeah, cigarette equals bad person.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, this was when you could, smoking was bad, but what are we going to tell you what to do? It's America. So Danny Glover walks in and freaks out. He starts throwing shit. He's throwing chairs. He's turning tables over. He's like, you guys are absolutely terrible. This is the worst team in the league. We've lost 15 games in a row. And not a single person goes, hey, you just got in a fist fight with the pitcher.
They're all just like, well, we better listen to him.
And you got kicked out of the game. I'm pretty sure we don't have to listen to you anymore.
Where's the general manager, the owner, to be like, you're fired. Like, you cannot even come in the stadium anymore.
Somebody's like, why are you yelling at us? I'm pretty sure you're the reason we just lost this game. Sure, maybe the other ones, but this one's on you, dude.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and it's like, what is this, a WWE event, or is this a baseball, locker room?
It's crazy. So, but like you said, where's the owner? So the next scene, he meets the owner of the team, and the owner just gives him like a, hey, keep at it. You just got to believe you're doing great. Not, you're fired, don't come back. Also, the pitcher wants to press charges. Here are the police.
Yeah, you will never play. You won't even come near a baseball stadium ever again in your life.
Nobody says anything about the pitcher punch.
Never.
It's never brought up ever.
And I think
he assaults this dude.
How can you assault your own baseball players?
He walks up and punches him in the face, and nobody ever, like literally, says anything about it.
Well,
this is crazy.
What are you gonna do?
So then, Danny Glover goes down to the field because he's contractually obligated to do an interview with this announcer who's this real jerk.
Here we go again.
They have this bad history where they both played back in the day and something, who cares? And they start getting in each other's face, and then on live, what I can only assume is national TV, Danny Glover punches this guy in the face.
Which is also illegal.
Oh, yeah, that's a crime.
Yeah, you can't. And again, it's right on film. It's not like, did it happen?
Right. That happens. Cut back to the foster home where everyone is miserable and depressed. There is some little Mexican kid there, too, who looks like he's about to age out of the system any day because he's got a mustache going that's better than I can grow now. Everyone hates life and just is in this house just acknowledging well, our family's abandoned us and nobody loves us. This nice old lady's doing her best, but even her best is kind of shitty. We all wish we were dead.
Yeah, and at this point I'm like, do I even want to watch the movie anymore?
This is where I also found out that the little black kid, JP, his character is not only incredibly annoying, but this kid cannot act. At all.
He's got to be. How young do you think he is?
7?
Maybe, yeah.
8, maybe?
Yeah, no, I don't even think 8. I may 7 at the most, yeah.
And I mean, get a better kid.
Yeah.
Get an older kid. Don't have a second kid. How about that?
I noticed a lot. He over-exaggerates his facial.
He over-exaggerates everything because he's a child, so he's like, wow, a real-life baseball game. You're like, oh, God, kid.
Oh.
And this was the best take. This was the best one. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt prays to God for the Angels to win the pennant so he can have a family again. And then a little star in the sky twinkles because, as we know, that's how the Lord shows acknowledgement.
Yeah, he shows it right to you. I mean, and
he just goes,
cling.
He goes, got it.
Yeah, no problem.
One miracle coming up.
And at first, your first thought is, well, God really shouldn't be getting involved in Major League Baseball.
Isn't that the whole thing where, God doesn't get directly involved with anything?
Yeah, well, I don't know, I'm just talking specifically in this, in this instance. It's like,
well,
how can...
Okay, we'll get into it. It hasn't happened yet.
I know, but it's about to, and it's bothering me.
So the next day, Danny Glover goes to the owner's office again, and the owner's like, well, you're getting fined $500 for $5,000 for punching that pitcher, and the announcer wants to press civil charges. But you know what? You gotta just keep doing a good job, and you just gotta keep at it. You can do this, Danny Glover. I believe in you. Are you fucking kidding me?
Again, you're not. So after all that, you are not welcome here anymore.
You're fired. Also, civil charges? How about criminal charges? Assault and battery. You don't even that case is a day long. Here's the tape of him doing it. He hasn't denied it. Okay, here's your jail time.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, I'm informing you of this. If as you leave the room here, the police will be right there to pick you up and take you to jail.
Also, it's not just they only say the announcer is pressing charges. What about the fucking pitcher? You never see that pitcher again. What happened to him?
He's out on PTSD, I guess.
He disappeared? Did Danny Glover kill him?
Maybe
why is nobody worrying where he is?
He's got to be traded.
But they say we're not going to trade anybody. This is our team. We got to keep it going.
Yeah, that's true.
That character gets punched in the face and then disappears from Movie Town.
Maybe he just didn't want to start anymore.
I guess so. I guess it's Foster Child Day at the stadium. Because a busload of kids from social services show up to watch the game.
Which is good. That's cool.
I know it's good, but it's just like half the audience in the stadium is foster children.
Well, is a reason, I guess. Why didn't Roger just go?
And not only that, there's no adult with them. It's not like, hey, this is the person watching you. No. Our seats are right here. There's 3 other adults here. If you have to go to the bathroom, get one of them. These kids just get off this bus and run into this stadium.
Yeah, be back here at 4. That's when the game should end, so.
Yeah,
there's
no cell phones, so if you're in trouble,
here's $10.
Good luck.
$10. That'll get you one soda. And because you all know how it is at a baseball game. I want a popcorn, a hot dog, a soda, and give me a cotton candy for the kid. They're got to be $37. Yeah, $37. You're like, holy crap!
Oh God, do you guys take checks?
He's like, man, that's why I don't go to baseball games anymore. If you're gonna go to that's why I only go to minor league games. But nonetheless.
So this is just interesting. The woman sitting behind them throughout the entire game is the Pine Sol lady.
Oh, from the commercials?
Yeah, the big black Pine Sol lady.
That's right. That is her, yep.
She never talks to them. She doesn't have a line, but she's sitting directly behind them, and she is the focal point of the frame every time it catches to them. And all I can think is like, why is the Pine Sol lady in the center of
She has one line, I think.
Yeah, she goes like, oh, well, I don't want to win that prize or whatever.
Oh, to see the manager or whatever.
Right. So Tony Danza, he is this washed-up pitcher who was on the last leg of his career. He has a burnt-out arm from playing
too much
years ago with too many pain pills.
Right. Yeah, he was playing through pain or just taking anything he could to make sure that he could keep pitching, and
he basically burnt his arm out.
Right.
And Danny Glover is like a real fucking prick.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're a piece of crap, washed up. Yeah, I don't want to let you pitch. So, but I'm going to keep you on the team, though.
No, he goes, you're a piece of crap. You're washed up. You played with pain pills, and you burnt your arm out. And
I like the answer. He's like, yeah, but you're the one that gave me the pain pills.
Yeah, he's like, but you made me do that, though. And he's like, it's not my fault. You're such a fucking idiot.
Oh, he doesn't say that.
He doesn't say that, but he says, like, it's, hey, you didn't have to take them. You did, though. Whatever. And I'm like, this is going to be the redeeming character of this movie?
He's such a jerk.
He's such a ruthless dick. So Neil McDonough is pitching this game because the other pitcher evaporated, I guess.
Is this the really weird dude?
This is the guy who's, like, comically silly.
Bass, right? That's his name? Is it the guy? Yeah, Bass.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, walking in circles, and I'm going to do a little arm movement and do a little dance, and everyone's like, oh, this guy. Ha, 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 ha.
The only part, I mean, yes, it's goofy and everything, but I did get a little chuckle about when he's getting ready to pitch, and he goes, and he comes sets again, and he sets again. And I'm like, well, in a real baseball game, you can't do that, because if you did that, they would just you can't deceive the batter. It's just ridiculous.
But this guy is comically bad.
Right, and he paces. What do you say? Paces around the mound and like
he doesn't even pace around the mound. He just makes like a big goofy walking circle. It's really dumb.
He's bouncing the resin bag off his head or something. It's stupid.
So during the game, we're playing now, and they're losing obviously. And then in the middle of it, angels. Real life biblical angels descend from heaven above to help Matthew McConaughey catch a baseball.
They lift him up and like carry him like a pretty good distance to catch a fly ball.
And literally everyone's like, "Well, that seems impossible. How is he doing that?"
And then they're like, "Well, whatever. He's out. At least we got to play."
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
So Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the only one who saw the angel, and everyone around him is just ignoring him as he starts to have a mental breakdown.
He's like,
and all of a sudden, Christopher Lloyd lands next to him on the bleachers and explains the rules of the movie, I guess.
Right, there's a rule, kind of like the genie of the lamp.
He says that his name is Al.
That's only because he has the American League cap on from one of the umpires, so Al.
He is the head angel for the celestial job, I guess, because I guess every group of angels needs a foreman.
Well, he's probably he's the one that's most familiar with baseball.
See, like that would have been an actual interesting thing to do if it turned out like he was like an old baseball guy from like 1902.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat, actually. Yeah.
It would give like this because first of all, Christopher Lloyd is like top billed in this movie. He does nothing in it. I think he says a total of, 5 sentences?
Yeah, and he must be in the movie for, 3 minutes?
3 minutes max.
Right.
If you add all his scenes together. I mean, if you're going to have, there be a figurehead angel, give him something. He's already an actor. He's an actor people know. Use him. Give this dude a character.
But instead, we just get, here's the rules, and every once in a while he's like, oh, guess what's about to happen? And then he kind of rolls out again. And at the end, we'll discuss a little bit more about that.
Well, this part, I want to talk about this part because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, what's going on? What's happening? He goes, well, you asked for help, and here we are. Because a white kid in California was sad, so we leapt into action by sending an entire fleet of angels.
When by fleet, we mean 2.
No, there's like a bunch.
Are there really? I thought there was only 2 or 3.
No, because you see that lady one, you see there's a black one, there's one that looks like meatloaf for some reason, there's like a Puerto Rican one, and there's a bunch of them.
And like we said, these angels look terrible.
Well, that aside, there isn't some Nigerian kid going, God, can you please stop Boko Haram from cutting all of our heads off?
Or
sorry, can't help.
Can we get some food?
Is sad. Oh. God. So the angels help another guy out, and they help him hit a home run
to win the game.
And they win the game with a score of 0-1.
Right.
So they also see that they have the winning ticket, and they get to have their picture taken with Danny Glover, who is still miserable. There's a line where they're taking the picture, and both of them look absolutely depressed, and the photographer goes, hey, smile, the team just won the game. And Danny Glover goes, it was a mistake, this team can't win. You're like, come on, dude.
Yeah, and of course, it's like the kid's right there. Would you say?
Not only is the kid right there, like, this is your job, man.
Yeah. If you won, you should be, it's somewhat, you don't have to be like overly excited, be like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did win. Okay.
Or at least be like, hey, maybe yelling at them yesterday helped. Maybe I'm doing something right. Think of, like, he has no opinion anyway. He's just like, oh, that was a fluke. That'll never happen again.
And so, isn't there a line, too, while they're taking the picture, someone's like, looks like a prison picture. They're both so upset.
Yeah, they keep saying it's a prison photo. Joseph Gordon-Levitt explains to Danny Glover about the angels, and of course he doesn't believe him. But he goes and yeah, right. So he goes to talk to the two players, and because it was Matthew McConaughey and some comical fat guy. I guess this was a bleed over from the 80s.
You love that, don't you?
Why is it in so many movies?
Almost every movie we watch has that comical fat guy. You eat it up.
So they both describe a force that was helping them, and just like that, Danny Glover's on board with everything.
He's like, some psycho kid just explained that there's angels literally in the outfield, and Well, they said they felt something, so it's got to be real.
So Danny Glover goes to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's house and
How did
says,
he find out where he lived?
Because they were gonna mail him the photo, so they had to have his address.
That bothered me.
So
I was wondering.
Because he hand delivers the photo.
Yeah. Okay.
So they must have had his address. So he hand delivers it, and he's like, "Hey, you were saying you saw something. Why don't you start coming to all of our games? Don't worry, we never appear to have an away game."
Oh no! They say one time like, "Oh, I'll call you on the phone."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, when we have away games, you'll be able to call me on the phone."
But
they never play an away game. Every game they play is in their home stadium. Mr. Baseball, doesn't that bother you?
Yeah, it really does. How can you not? And even in what was it? The kid that there was a movie where the kid was a pitcher or something like that. I forget what it was called.
Oh, Rookie of the Year.
Yep, you're right. At least they did. They went. That was like a part of the movie. Like, oh, we're going away, and the kid, has never been away from home, so it's kind of a big thing because that he's going to be away from his parents and all that.
Well,
and they went.
Here's the thing with this: if you're gonna not have an away game because it's a movie and we don't have enough money, don't mention away games. Don't be like, hey, next week when we play an away game, and then next week we're still here.
Or you can do like a quick snippet saying like they won on the road. Anything.
Yeah, but nothing. So he comes to the games. So the next day they're there, and this guy the actor Taylor Negron, rest in peace, is in charge of watching these kids, and he's just like I'm just a snobby man. And within 1 minute, he gets mustard on his shirt, and he gets an entire Coke spilled on his pants because this JP kid is an idiot.
He's just like, let me hand you my Coke. Whoops. And he just tips it onto him.
So while they leave, Christopher Lloyd shows back up and says, "Hey, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, probably should have said this yesterday. My fault. Shouldn't have assumed you know the rules. Don't tell anybody."
It's a good thing he didn't go to the press or something.
Right, like don't tell anyone about these angels. I heard you already told 2 people. Let's cut it there, so we're good.
So doesn't he call? He calls over the manager at this point, doesn't he?
He's not the manager. He's the coach.
Coach, whatever, same thing.
So he calls Danny Glover over and he says that there's an angel here, so they're probably going to help with the game. And he's like, okay, well, please don't just be screaming my name and yelling that there's angels around. So we need a signal to indicate that you see an angel. So this is the part where they come up with the hand signal.
Yeah, and this is just so now I don't think Danny Glover has anything to do with coming up with it, but Roger says, "Oh, if I see an angel, I'll do this," and he just starts flapping his arms in the air like
a bird.
Yeah, but not like very, no one will see
not
this.
Not maybe like tucking your arms and do like a chicken.
Straight out, like full
straight out,
span,
And it's like, this is not what I'd call subtle.
Right.
So JP and Taylor Negron come back. Taylor Negron sits on an entire thing of nachos because ruining a man's clothing is funny.
Yeah, I thought it was somewhat comical.
Did you?
A little bit, not like...
I felt really bad for this guy.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't really want to watch kids. Isn't he like the marketing guy?
Yeah, he's the marketing rep for the team.
Yeah, he's like, why am I watching children?
So now the game is starting. They aren't doing well, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt tells Danny Glover that the team needs to stop cursing so that angels will show up. First of all, he doesn't actually know that.
I didn't hear that in the rules either.
Right. Nobody ever said that. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's just assuming it, I guess because we couldn't realistically make a movie where ball players didn't curse, so we had to come up with a rule for this Disney film. Because Danny Glover calls somebody a horse's ass. Ass is a word in the Bible, by the way. He doesn't go like, you fucking cocksucking motherfucker. Like, he just goes, hey, you horse's ass. Oh, no, the angels won't show up.
Well, it's a Disney movie.
But don't do it. Don't reference it at all.
Was this rated G? I wonder. Or was this PG?
I don't know. It must be PG because they do say ass.
Yeah.
Right. Danny Glover tells everybody to stop cursing.
And they're just like, what?
And then as soon as that happens, Joseph Gordon-Levitt sees an angel with Adrian Brody, and he convinces Danny Glover to put him in. An angel. Well, the thing with Adrian Brody is he doesn't keep his eye on the ball.
He's the worst. He's more used, from what I gathered, he was the utility infielder, meaning that he was only like put in late in a game to put it as a defensive specialist. He's not a hitter, so basically he's the worst hitter on the team besides the pitchers. But pitchers don't hit in the American, anyways. So yeah,
they put him in.
They replaced the best hitter with him,
and the pitcher throws the ball, and then an angel shows up and grabs the ball. And nobody can see this happening, mind you.
No, the angel, yeah.
No one can see the angel, and the ball slows down in midair to where it basically stops moving. And Adrian Brody still barely hits it.
He like taps it into the ground. And here's if that happened in a real ball game, the umps would be like, "Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah,
this play is dead. There's something going on." Like.
Yeah, that was, I don't know
magic.
What I just saw. I can't imagine. That's the first thing they said. Okay, everybody who's got a warlock in the dugout.
You're like, it's like, there's no Lord of the Rings here at this game, okay?
All right, everybody got to put that. Who's got a wand? Put your wand down. We're playing that again. We're playing this one clean, guys. Come on, no magic.
That's the first thing you would think, right? If the ball just stopped in front of the hitter.
Well, at the very least, everybody should be like, okay, we all acknowledge that something weird just happened. We don't know why. Let's just try that again.
But then it just gets worse.
So he hits the ball, and like you said, it barely goes anywhere. He still fucks up.
Yeah.
And now the ball, people are trying to scoop the ball off the ground, and it's like a fucking Mexican jumping bean. Like, it's jumping around, it's in the air, it's swirling under people's legs, it's like comically making people run into each other.
They have 17 errors on the play.
I thought it was 19.
Oh, 19, excuse me. Anything over 3 errors right now, if you actually watch debate, 3 errors is the record for amount of errors in a play. So this is a little over.
And this isn't news, by the way. Like, this would be the front page of everything.
Yeah, and
team loses their mind. Space and time somehow stops during pitch.
Infield dribbler turns home run. Like, right? I mean, what?
Like, at the very least, this would be investigated for cheating. Cheating would be assumed.
And by the way, this isn't even... Actually, it wouldn't even be ruled a home run. It would be an error for each base he went to. He would just have reached on I scored on an error. Well, from third base? No, from batting, actually.
So they win, obviously. Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes home. They find out that the little Latino kid got placed with a family. When am I going to get a family? It's all very sad. Where blah 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 blah.
It was a little sad. Yes.
So the next day at the game, Tyler Negron is wearing a poncho now, and he's already
sauce and all that,
and he's already covered in ketchup and mustard.
Like, what is JP doing? Does he go to the game intentionally to mess this guy up?
If I was Tyler Negron, I'd be like, you know what? Joseph Gordon-Levitt seems like a nice enough kid, and he's smart enough to get his shit together. That black kid can't come anymore. I'm not watching him. He's literally ruining my clothes. Or if he can come, you have to tell him no food.
Yeah, you have to sit there, no talking, no food, nothing. Just sit there, okay?
So Joseph Gordon-Levitt sees an angel with Tony Danza, who is the washed-up guy, and convinces Danny Glover to put him on. Tony Danza then proceeds to pitch a perfect game.
Well, not a perfect game.
Oh, I thought he did.
No. He had a complete game shutout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And everyone's happy. And it's just, the Angels are just using angel magic to make the ball go super fast. And at least this one you can get.
What do you mean?
Because he was supposed to be this former really great pitcher. He hasn't started a game in 4 years, and you can go like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's seen a chiropractor or something.
Yeah, but the whole problem is, again, why is it God's or the Angels' business about who is winning, who gets to win in the major leagues?
Just for this one like I said, a sad white kid in California. There are people, they cut off albinos' limbs in Africa and eat them because they think it's magic. Ugh. But you know what? Let's not do anything about that. There's this sad white boy. Let's fix that problem.
Yeah, and he's getting... It's unbelievable. I just can't even believe. And
it would be one thing if it was like the Angels worked some sort of magic at social services and got this kid like an adopted family.
Yeah,
no,
that's a
they're
quick fix. This is like a 6-month problem thing. Like, you know.
Yeah, and it's not even. And also, the Angels should have been like, "Hey, kid, we heard your prayer. I know you want the Angels to win the pennant, but we heard what your dad said too, because we're omnipresent and all-knowing. Your dad didn't mean that literally. So maybe instead of this, we help you this way? Nope, they're just like, you asked. We don't ask questions. You said you want this. Here it is.
Enter L.
Enter L. So Danny Glover drives them home, which he does personally every day.
Like, don't you think the team might need him after the game? Like,
not only need him, would he want to do... He's the coach of a Major League Baseball team. Call these kids a cab.
But he's turning into a nice guy.
For no reason, by the way. Like, there's not like... He actually, at this point, doesn't believe in angels till, like, another hour.
How long was this movie?
Oh, God, this was almost 2 hours. This was a long movie. So... He's all happy that they won another game, and he goes, "Hey, you guys can have anything you want. I'll do whatever you guys want. What do you want to do?" And they want to play baseball with him with all the kids in town.
Yeah, in their little neighborhood area.
Right. And instead of going like, "Hey, can you pull some strings at social services and get me a family, please?"
Like, maybe you could run an ad with the marketing guy and be like, "Hey, these two kids are some great Angels fans, you know. We're looking for another great Angels fan that would love to adopt them."
Or like, "Hey, can you donate some money to my foster home? It's kind of shitty."
Their car is so bad.
Nope. All he wants to do is play baseball after they spent the entire day watching baseball.
I can understand that a bit. I used to do that in the summer.
So here's the other thing. Why does nobody seem to think this is really weird?
He's just hanging out with two kids like all the time.
Not only is he hanging out with these two kids all the time, he doesn't know them. There's not a parent or a supervisor there. He spends a lot of alone time with these children. He drives them places. When he's playing baseball with them, there's no parents there. He's the only adult. It's a little weird.
Well, I mean, I actually have no way to come back on that. It's just, it is a little strange, and no one says anything.
So now there's just a montage of the team winning a bunch of games. Well, hold on. I guess we can assume some of them are away games.
We hope, yeah. Oh, like, how come there's a whole thing, like, what's going on with the coach and all that? Like, why, I'm wondering, like, why no one realized he was hanging out with them at all. Like, it's not like he makes it a secret. They're, like, in the locker room after a game.
Yeah, that's right. None of the players are ever like, "Hey, Danny Glover, who the fuck are the kids?
Are they your kids, or do you just bring them in, or why do they sit next to the dugout every time?"
I didn't think you were married. You don't appear to be married. Their parents aren't here. Are you babysitting? Because you're a coach for a Major League Baseball team.
Anyways, go back. So they win a bunch of games, and they're moving up the standings from last place.
Right. So we cut to the foster home. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to miss the next game because he has a court date.
And this is right near the pennant. Like, if they would have won this, they have 2 games left in the season.
So this is where his dad is officially going to give his son over to the state. They go there. He misses the game, and they lose the game. At the courthouse, Joseph Gordon-Levitt finally realizes maybe his dad wasn't being literal when he was talking about the Angels winning the pennant. That comes down crushing his life like a sack of bricks, which is really sad to watch.
I was disturbed a little bit.
He just like starts breaking down crying because reality hit him.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, he wasn't actually, didn't mean that, the whole pennant thing."
So I guess my prayer was meaningless. Angels, why didn't you say something?
Oh, at least they're going to probably win the pennant.
I guess.
No, and then it's like, why couldn't the Angels help them when he wasn't there? Like, that whole thing, like, bugs me. Why couldn't they have just helped, when he was
I get if he's not there, they won't help. That doesn't seem like, what are all these rules? Who wrote all these rules down?
Christopher Lloyd didn't say that was a rule.
Ever.
No, but now all of a sudden he's not there. They can't do anything.
So in the locker room, JP is crying because they lost, and Danny Glover's trying to calm him down. They start talking about the Angels, and the jerky announcer guy overhears them, And he goes over and asks the kid about the Angels. There is another scene where Danny Glover is in the foster home making them dinner. What?
Yeah, I didn't know. Is he allowed to do that? I don't know.
I don't know
what the social services rules are, but it seems a little shady.
Yeah, it's weird. So the next day, a report in the paper comes out about the Angels, the literal Angels. Danny Glover saying that there are angels.
Now people are like, which they should have been like, before, based on all the arm waving and.
The owner of the team calls Danny Glover into his office and is really grilling him about it. Danny Glover says, "Yeah, I think there are angels," and then he gets fired. He fires him now, over this.
And they're winning? You know, it's not like...
He physically assaulted two men on the same day, on camera, and possibly behind a cheating/steroid scandal, because these guys are... There's this giant fat guy who can't move over a waddle, and suddenly he's the fastest guy on the team? Everybody's going to line up right now and pee in a cup.
The steroid skin. Like angels, yeah, sure, angels, air quotes.
Yeah, angels. Okay, guess what, Churchy? You're fired.
You mean needles?
What? Next you're going to want to start praying in the dugout? Nuh-uh. We'll take physical assault on multiple people. We'll take possibly this cheating. I own the team. I'm not going to say anything about that. Keep doing what you're doing. But angels? God? Get out of here.
I mean, when Jose Canseco was convicted of using steroids, he should have mentioned the California Angels in 94.
Well, I think it was angels that did it.
Sure.
So the owner says he's going to hold a press conference, and Danny Glover has to, I guess, renounce faith.
He's like, you can't have faith.
If you denounce God on live TV, then you can keep your job. Danny Glover should go, I don't think you can fire me for this. I think that's illegal, actually.
Yeah, the First Amendment and all.
You probably should have fired me months ago when I punched that dude, but
what's the
that's
statute
on
of
you
limitations?
now.
I don't know,
Yeah, that's all on you, but you fire me on this, you got a civil suit up your butt that you're not going to want to have to deal with.
We'll show you angels.
So they have the press conference. Danny Glover can't bring himself to renounce
God.
the Lord.
Yeah.
Denounce the Lord. So several people make inspiring speeches. It's not just Danny Glover. Tony Danzas gets up and makes one. The foster mom makes one. The owner makes one. There's like 4 or 5 speeches in a row, and you're just like, God, man.
And I like the only jerk in the room is the guy that actually has some kind of sense.
Right. The announcer's like, wait a minute. So you believe that there's a child who sees angels and is influencing how the team plays? Like, he makes a lot of really good points.
But then everyone is like, you know what? Well, you're a jerk, so...
He's just such an asshole, so nobody listens to him.
Yeah, whatever. Don't talk to us, okay? Just keep moving with the movie, all right?
So we
got a pennant to win here.
So they basically call the bluff of the owner, and he's like, well, if I fire him now, I look like a real turd. So
I like angels, too.
Yeah, I'm on the team also. So they keep him on. So now we're at the last game of the season. It's at the Angels' home stadium.
Of course it is.
Because it's just a little weird that we never played a single road game. So the game is going well enough, I guess, because they've been winning. They've also just gotten better.
Well, it's also baseball is a lot of baseball. I hate to say, is a lot of luck. Like, you hit the ball. If the guy hits the ball and your fielder is where the ball goes, and a lot of lucky things can happen, and lucky hits. So yeah, by some stroke by themselves, they're keeping in this game. It's like 2-2 or something like that.
Yeah, and not a single angel has showed up yet. Then Christopher Lloyd shows up in the dugout because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's now in the dugout, and to tell him 2 things. One thing is, Tony Danzas' character, he's gonna die. He's got 6 months to live.
Let's lay that on heavy, really.
And I'm like, why does that have to be in here?
He's like, hey, he's coming to see us. He's going to be an angel. And I get it's kind of supposed to be a little bit of a, like, well, at least he'll be an angel. But then you're just like, why did the kid have to know?
Why kill the character at all? Like, There's no point to it. He shows up and goes, okay, two things. One, see Tony Danza over there? Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, yeah. He's like, well, he's going to die in 6 months. Number two, I can't help you in this game
because
it's a championship, and that has to be won on its own. And I quote, "It's a rule."
Now wait a second here, Christopher Lloyd. You said that you gave us the rules at the beginning. You can't just change them. Well, I guess angels can do whatever they want, but
it's a rule? What rule? Is it a rule that dates back to an ancient Hebrew text dictating the limits of angelic influence on a baseball game?
It's a rule.
It's a rule? What rule?
What paragraph is it? What
is this?
Again, the rules get made up as we go along too. It's like unbelievable.
And you'd argue with the guy like, "Hey, you said you were here to help them win the pennant." One might argue this is the only time you're needed, really.
Like, if we win this game, then you're actually not needed anymore.
If they lose, then you guys, I guess, fucked me.
Wow. So
because that doesn't make any sense.
But nonetheless, they're not going to help them.
They're not going to help them. So the game continues. They do okay, but Tony Danza is starting to get weaker and weaker because he's, as we learn, is literally dying.
And his arm is done. And I love near the end. So I think the Angels take a 1-run lead.
Yeah.
And then he's pitching late in the game, and I love this. The announcer's like, well, he can't last much longer. He's been out there for 156 pitches. I am sorry. It is impossible for a pitcher to throw 156 pitches without his arm just not working and or falling off.
And he's got lung cancer. He should just die now.
I mean, the typical starter in the major leagues can throw 100 pitches. That's usually the limit is about 100 pitches. 120 is really pushing it. 156, your arm just does not work, and the Angels aren't helping.
Nobody's helping.
So, yeah,
we got literally a terminally ill man who hasn't done well in his career for 4 years, and the only reason he's been doing anything is because of divine influence.
And now it's not there.
He should have fell over. Now we're down to one pitch, right? All he's got to do is strike this guy out. And we win.
And the bases are loaded. Right? It's a whole thing. Yeah, of course.
So Joseph Gordon-Levitt convinces Danny Glover to let Tony Danza finish the game because he's dying? Because Danny Glover knows there's no Angels out there, and he's like, man, there's no Angels. Hey, we got to pull Tony Danza out. He's doing real bad. Maybe we can still do this if we pull him out. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, no, he needs to go out with a win.
And of course he goes out there. And I think the whole thing was you're supposed to make him believe that the Angel's helping him, so he'll be able to do it. But I'm sorry,
basically
science,
they trick him.
Yeah, but first off, science denotes that does not matter.
So
your 157th pitch is not going to reach the plate. You're going to bounce it in at 30 feet.
So they trick Tony Danza into thinking he is an angel, so he will just believe. And then it was in him the whole...
is what it is. It doesn't work.
It was in him the whole time.
I told you it's bullshit. There's no way.
The whole time. Yeah. You just have to believe.
And now everyone's waving their arms like idiots.
Yeah, because Joseph Gordon-Levitt steps out and does the angel signal. He's like, see, that's a signal that means you have an angel with you. Just take my word for it. And now the whole stadium's doing it. The music swells and we all cry.
Oh, that's Jurassic Park. Anyway.
Na, 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 na. And it works. And, of course, they win. He throws one last pitch, and hooray, we all win.
We won the pennant.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't go up to Tony Danza and goes, hey, congratulations. Maybe go to a doctor. Just take my word on that.
No, he's like, well, we won. Nice.
Whatever. I now have to live with knowing this man's mortality will end soon.
Maybe, some treatment might have helped. Who knows?
Who knows? And then they go home and they find out that Danny Glover adopted them?
Well.
What? Were we building to that?
Well, I kind of knew it was going to happen.
I mean, I did too, because I saw the movie 20 fucking years ago. But
I can't believe it's been 20 years. Unbelievable.
It's been more than that.
I know, but it's ridiculous. I can't believe
it's been, why is it like 22 years?
22 years since this movie came out. Unbelievable.
I mean, yes, obviously they've been building a relationship and everything, but I don't know. I think even then I was like, wait a minute, do you know how to be a dad? Like,
oh my God.
Aren't you like 50? Can you handle these two kids when they become teenagers? Also, JP appears to destroy everything he touches. Do you sure you want to adopt him too?
JP. Oh, my God.
And then Christopher Lloyd does one more thing where it's like, see, I brought a family together by influencing a Major League Baseball game.
Oh, my God.
I guess. And then flies away.
And that's it. That's the end of the movie.
That's it. That was certainly a movie.
Oh, boy.
So why don't you go into it? Our rating system is you didn't hate it. It's a good party movie. It's a good hangover movie, or you hated it.
It's weird. I have to actually say I didn't hate it because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of baseball, and just the ridiculousness of all the baseball stuff in it made me not hate it. And again, I didn't mind. I didn't have any trouble. I was like, oh my gosh, is it over yet? I really didn't. So I can't say I hate it. However, it's ridiculous. If you want to watch anything that remotely shows anything about real baseball, then I would definitely suggest the movie Moneyball.
Hell, watch any other sports movie. Watch the Mighty Ducks, for Christ's sake.
Oh, that's a great series. But yeah, I would go. Moneyball is my favorite baseball. Of course, Field of Dreams is also right up there too. But yeah, I didn't hate it. It's ridiculous, and the logic behind it is ridiculous as well. But hey, I was doing. At no point was I like, oh my gosh, I can't stop watching. I just want to stop watching this. So yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it either, but I don't want to give it. I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give this a hangover movie. Because it's not bad. It was definitely, like we said several times, like as I was watching it, I was enthralled in it too, because I did not realize how much of this movie I didn't get when I was a kid, or I just forgot. This movie's a lot more depressing.
Did you say a hangover movie? If you're going to watch it as a hangover movie, make sure you're not still a little drunk, because that'll put some extra sadness in you, I'll tell you.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, if it's a fucking Sunday morning and you had a long Saturday, like, this is a movie you can lay on the couch and just sort of like have happen at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's because we'll say this, it's other than JP, it's well acted. Everybody's doing a good job. It's filmed well. It clips along. It's a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. It's like an hour, 47 minutes, but you don't feel that time.
I thought it was going to be an hour and a half.
It's a little on the long side, but honestly, it kind of just kept moving for me. I didn't really notice.
Yeah.
And so if it's a Sunday morning and you just want to sit on the couch and you don't want something that's too loud or too flashy, this will handle it. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything to say about it. It kind of like left me with like a sour taste in my mouth, because I was like, man, I don't remember this movie being this bad.
Well, because when you're a kid, all yours like, oh, baseball and, funny stuff. That's all you don't take all that other...
Instead of this, watch a good Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie like Inception or...
oh, wow, yeah.
Batman.
All right, so didn't you have something else you wanted to bring up?
I did. So I hardly ever check our actual iTunes place.
Right.
But you know how we have a robot problem on our Facebook channel?
Hey, a lot of Vietnamese ones.
Yeah, for some reason on our Facebook channel, we got a lot of, like, robots that are just, like, just these fake spam accounts that were liking us when we first started. I don't know why. And honestly, every time I see a new like on our Facebook page, I don't believe it. So if you're like an actual person who really likes the show and you're like, oh, I like this, I'm going to click like on their Facebook page. I see your name pop up and I go, that's a fake person. You're not real. The only time I ever believe it is when I see somebody comment and be like, hey, when you said this thing in the show, I laughed. I'm like, oh, I know that's a real person.
Right.
So I checked I was like, oh, it says we have 7 reviews.
Wow.
And a lot of them are positive. They're all written on the same day.
Oh, no.
And they don't make any sense.
Oh, no.
And they're all very short. We have an actual one by a real person. This person says, a happy accident. My husband ran across your show while searching for it. So glad we found it. I love what they said. We are not robots. Don't give up.
They said that?
They said that. But they said we are not robots, but then the next 6 reviews are robots.
What do they say?
This one's 5 stars. Very funny. This is the greatest podcast ever. Best comedy podcast out there. Which, I read that and I'd be like, okay, sure. But then the next one from the same day says, this is very informative. It's about time we had a show like this. What?
Oh, boy.
There are several. All right. Then this one's 4 stars. Very funny show. Look forward to it each week. That one's not bad. But again, the same day. This one is 2 stars.
Oh.
It says, this is thoughtful and entertaining content.
And you gave it 2 stars.
And you gave it 2 stars. Also, what we do is not thoughtful. This one, this is the 7th one. The title of this one is called Truly Inspiring.
Oh, boy.
Truly inspiring. Such great topics and information. Always wanting me for next new podcast to come out. What?
How many stars did we get for that one?
That one was 5 because
good.
we're truly inspiring.
Well, at least we're getting positive stars or whatever.
They're not real.
Well, it bumps us up on the
I
site.
don't know why we're getting them, frankly.
I don't either. But I'm glad we had that one from the real listener.
Oh, yeah, the one who's like a real woman, not these that are like 2 stars. This is thoughtful. What?
Oh, boy. Well, hey.
Well, I guess with that said, if you want to write us a real review and you're a human being, you can go to iTunes and write one. We'd appreciate that. Also, if you get it on Podomatic or iTunes, please rate and review and subscribe, as that would help. I don't know if this helped at all. I don't know. I don't even know what this is. But if you like the show, go to our Facebook page, give us a like. Throw us some comments, throw us some suggestions. We have an email you can send us directly to if you got anything longer you want to send us. It's moviehotdog@gmail.com. We have a YouTube channel that is up and running, and it is loaded with podcasts. And every week when I am done editing this, I will put the same episode on YouTube. So if you guys want to listen to it there at work, that's great. Subscribe to that channel. Comment there. Give us lots of hate. We don't care. I think I'm done. Francis, do you have anything to say?
I got nothing.
All right, why don't you sign us off?
Well, for Reverend Zach, this is Frank just saying this movie was a hot dog.